Today's draft will be 12 people. It's pretty much standard PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end. We're not going to get to the point where we're going to do kickers and defenses, which Jim loves. And 1 point for reception, 4 points for a touchdown pass. I don't think we need to know anything else. So it's gonna go 4 points for a touchdown pass. Any questions, let me know. So we'll start with Stacy's gonna have the first pick. But before we get picking, everybody introduce yourself and tell the audience who you are.
Hey everybody, so I'm Stacy Perez, and I am with the Fantasy and Frames group.
Yeah, there you go. Give her some applause. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm Tyler Bradley. I'm with the Fantasy Football Advice Forum.
Hi, how do y'all do? Lawrence Jackson Jr., NBC Sports, baby.
Jim Coventry from RotoWire and Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Channel on the weekends.
Lauren Carpenter with FTN Fantasy, also on Sirius XM on Saturdays.
I'm JJ Zacharyson with Late Round Fantasy Football.
I'm Britt Flynn from Fantasy Alarm and Better Sports Network.
How's it going? I'm Frank Amarante. I'm with the Game Day. Nice to see all you.
What's up, everybody? Kyle Lindemann, rotoballer.com.
Joel Cox, CBS Sports.
And Scott Engel drafting 11. And, of course, drafting 12th, the man who made this all possible for us to draft at the Hall of Fame. Let's hear it for Bob Lung. Did I hear some boos? All right. From this point, it pretty much runs itself. How many rounds we want to go, Bob? All right. Well, we'll see how much. We got an hour, so let's see what we can do. We'll start with Stacy.
Okay, so number 1 pick, can I do Justin Jefferson? Is he available? Can I take him? Okay, good. Okay, pardon? Oh, he's not. Yeah, definitely. That is who I would like, please. I don't know.
Everybody, because we have a distinguished panel of experts, when you give your pick, give the analysis with the pick.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, Justin Jefferson. I really don't know what else needs to be said. It's Justin Jefferson, guys, right? He's going to be the number 1 receiver, either him or Jamar Chase. I just personally prefer Justin Jefferson right now because I don't have a ton of him at this point. I haven't been lucky enough to get the number 1 spot in a lot of my drafts. So if I do get that number 1 spot, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson.
All right. Number 2 spot. I'm going to take my guy in San Fran, Christian McCaffrey. You just can't beat the passing, running, all of it. It's points for everybody. Points galore, yeah. As long as he stays healthy, that's a good one.
I didn't know we had to give an explanation with the picks, but since we do, analysis. With number 3, I'm gonna go ahead and take Tyreek Hill. If you give me those numbers that he had last year, that's a top 2 to 3 receiver. So I'll take Tyreek Hill at number 3.
Love that pick, Lawrence. Pick number 4, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. His floor is just so extremely high. The league took away the deep shots last year. He only had 230-yard games. The rest were like 100 or less. But even that, his target floor is ridiculous.
Yeah, I like it. So I am not going to go with Cooper Kupp, who I probably should. I do not like the soft tissue injury. I do not like what's going on with his leg, and I'm going to come to regret this in my life choices. But I'm going to go Austin Eckler. PPR, baby, pass-catching monster. He's just # very good at football. The end.
Now I feel bad about taking Cooper Kupp after. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp here. Last season when he was healthy, he was top wide receiver in points per game. There's not much competition there in LA. Not only that, but that defense could be rough this season. So they could be a pretty pass-heavy team. So I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp.
Well, if you leave me Travis Kelce, then I'm taking him at number 7. Much like everything else, he's good at football. This Kansas City offense runs through him. They basically have a hodgepodge of wide receivers and then Travis Kelce. He's going to get his.
All right, this may seem like a slight reach, but I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, he's one of the safest picks you can make in fantasy this year. There's continuity with the quarterback, with the play caller. It's a good offense, good offensive line. He's a target hog. I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Since it is a 3 wide receiver start, don't want to be falling behind, even though we are in the wide receiver 2 tier. Oldie but a goodie, Stephon Diggs.
I'm going to go with the Rook. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. Like Tyler Algier, they're getting plenty of volume as well. I actually think he'll still be relevant, but let me go with Bijan and let's play some upside here.
I need you and Joel to switch seats. I think you're in the wrong one. Okay. All right. So Joel, Kyle, you picked Diggs, right? Yeah, I picked Diggs.
All right, I disagree with Kyle that it's wide receiver 2s here. So I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb. I think, with Dak Prescott, there's just going to be a great connection again this year. Also, Brandon Cooks helping to draw defensive tension away from him. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have a really, really good team, and CeeDee Lamb might be the prime offensive playmaker for the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing go back. For my pick, so we can keep this going, I'm going to take A.J. Brown. Second half of last year, he was 8 for 8 in consistency. That's what I'm all about. If I can get that, even if I can get 80% this year, I'll take that as a first-round pick every day. And then my pick on the turn is I'm going to take... I went brain dead. All right, so for the first pick of the second round, I'm going to take Devontae Adams. I know there's some trouble there in the big city of Vegas, but he's still a stud. Garoppolo's got to throw it to him a ton. I'm not going to pass up at this spot.
So a lot of people talk about the zero running back theory. I never do it by design, but I can't resist with a CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson start. 2 number 1 wide receivers to start the draft. I'll go value on running back. Garrett Wilson, he's the only game in town. Everybody talks about the Jets offense. The Jets don't have a number 2 wide receiver on that roster in terms of NFL talent. Alan Lazard, not a number 2. We saw it in Green Bay. McCole Hardman, Randall Cobb. He's going to be a target monster. Even if defenses know he's coming, they won't stop him. So starting CeeDee Lamb and Garrett Wilson, I'm very happy with that.
This might seem a little high, but I've got really, really high hopes for Jalen Waddle this year. So I'm going to take him.
A lot of folks are going to go receiver, or at least one receiver in the first and or second. I'm going to push back on that. I'm going to take Saquon Barkley. I'm looking for a lot of touches, and I think between Bijan and Saquon, we're putting some points on the board as a good floor.
All right, it's his time to shine. We've been waiting this for so long. Zeke is gone. I'm taking Tony Pollard. I have huge hopes for him. Great offensive line, good running game. I like the pairing with him and St. Brown.
I just knew you were going to say Nick Chubb, and I'm so glad you didn't, because that's who I'm taking. I'm sorry, Lauren. He's going to have a great season. Kareem Hunt's finally gone. I don't care about he's not going to catch passes. No, because he is, and he's going to be awesome.
Well, there's a tier break here after that Nick Chubb pick. I'm gonna go with Chris Olave as the next one. Maybe people would see that as a reach. There's some folks who would be more comfortable drafting one of these like pseudo holdout running backs potentially. But I'm gonna go Chris Olave. Unbelievable rookie season, one of the most underrated rookie seasons that you could have found. Top 7 yards per route run as a rookie since 2011. Usually those guys have huge year 2s. I'm into Chris Olave.
Look at you throwing out stats, nerd. All right. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry, if he's not already taken, because I can't hear anything. So, yeah, excellent. So I didn't do that faux pas. I'm going to go Derrick Henry here. I know everyone's like, oh, he's getting older. He's washed. He's Derrick freaking Henry. He's a cyborg. It's insane. Plus, with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, they're not going to be able to stack the box against him nearly as much this year as they have in the past, where he's still succeeded. So give me Derrick Henry.
Not excited about the running backs that are on the board of this particular pick. Yes, and the wide receivers there's a group, I like any of them, but it sounds like it's going to be interesting to roll with T. Higgins. I have Jamar Chase already. Wouldn't be typical to do this, but man, they're the only games in town, and they're going to throw, my guess is for close to 5,000 yards. So yeah, T. Higgins.
Yeah, staying with the wide receivers here, I'm gonna go with Amari Cooper. One of the we're starting to get to the point where we're running out of wide receiver ones for the teams, and I expect Deshaun Watson to bounce back this season. So give me Amari Cooper.
Did Devontae Adams go yet? I couldn't hear you. Well, I was gonna go that one. Let me go with. I'm gonna have to go running back again. Yeah, I feel bad though, because she just told me, she was like, Devonta Smith. All right.
No, nobody got it.
All right, I'm gonna. No, I'm not gonna do it to you. I hate this portion of the draft. It's like right there, and it's a little gap, and you're like, man, I have to either reach or take somebody I necessarily don't want. So I'm gonna go ahead and sure up my tight end position, and I'm gonna take Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson's favorite target, the only one he'll throw the ball to probably all season. When he throws the ball, I'll take it.
Okay, so when I have a start where I've got 3 wide receivers, and this is just me anyway, I love going very heavy on receivers. So I'm going to take Devonta Smith with my next pick. I think, he's on an elite offense, and getting him at this level right here at the end of the second, I don't think you can go wrong with him. He's going to put up a ton of production, especially from, the Hurts to Smith connection. So love Devonta Smith here. And okay, all right, let's go. And just to be a little contrary for my personal, because like I said, I love to go receiver until I just can't stand it anymore. But this is a player that has not really gotten to me in a lot of drafts. But at the end, sometimes you do have to, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, just because it's going to be so long before you get back to draft again. And I'm going to take my first running back here. I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson. I got him last year at a huge value. Obviously this year, just because of that production last year, he's gone way up in the draft boards. But unless they sign somebody, they haven't so far, I'm going to go with Ramondre.
All right, so the existence of an every down back is dissipating in the NFL. And so I'm going to make sure that I get a couple that are just going to hog touches. And so I'm going to take right here Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steeler, baby.
Nah, man, we in round 3, man. It's time for somebody to do it, and I'm going to do it. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor.
Because if Lawrence didn't, I was going to. Hey, look, with Taylor, he has no leverage. Is it possible he sits out? Yes. But at this point, we're 26 picks into the draft. At that point, it's enough value to take the risk. I already kind of see running backs kind of flatlining as well. But I really do want one on my squad at this point. So I am going to go. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to catch 70 passes as a rookie. I don't think he gets the heavy early down work. David Montgomery gets 230, 240 carries. But I think on 180 carries and 70 targets, I think Jahmyr Gibbs can carry the mail.
You are now dead to me, Jim. Dead to me. All right, I've got 2 running backs. I've got Austin Eckler and I've got Derrick Henry, which I really like. I would love to have a wide receiver. This could get a little spicy because I do have 2 Chargers, but I'm going to just say, why not? I'm going to go Keenan Allen.
So I started Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, kind of in a weird spot in the draft. Again, could go any position really. I'm just gonna risk it and say Josh Jacobs here. Obviously, it can go south. He could not play. That's what we call the reverse snipe. After it. Yeah. We'll see. I think we'd all agree that if Josh Jacobs were guaranteed to be playing week 1, we'd be drafting him probably in the mid-second. So getting him in the mid-third feels about right given all of the off-the-field stuff going on.
I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley. I understand the hesitance. I'm sorry, Lauren. Oh my gosh. I understand the hesitance of him not playing in almost 2 seasons, but he is so good. How he looks in practice, how he looks on the field, how that system operates. He is going to have incredible upside, and getting him in the 3rd, mwah.
I'm going to go with my quarterback 1 this season, Jalen Hurts. Huge rushing upside. He's used so much around the red zone. Sometimes he goes like late 2nd round. So to get him in the mid-3rd, I like that pick. I can't pass it up.
I'm going to get in the quarterback game as well and go with Patrick Mahomes.
Now, I think it's important in this spot. I'm at the 109. Well, we're at the 309 or 310, 311, 312. Do not have a running back. So that's one thing to factor in. There's probably going to be ones that'll go. I'm going to take Travis Etienne. There's a little bit of concern with Tank Bigsby being there, but we're talking about a guy that had better college peripherals than Bijan Robinson did. And if he wouldn't have returned for his senior season in 2020, then 2021, he had the Liz Frank injury. We were really robbed of 2 years of prime Travis Etienne. And I think he's actually one of the most talented backs in the league. Whether Doug Peterson sees it that way is another, but I think that's easily a top 8 offense, and I want pieces of it.
All right, again, zero running back theory. I don't do it by design, but if I get a chance to take DK Metcalf as my 3rd wide receiver, I'll go ahead and do it to have a trio of Lamb, Wilson, and Metcalf, which will probably be the best in the league. And because I write for fantasy for Seahawks.com, I am contractually obligated to take at least one Seahawk.
All right. So as many of you know, I drive for the Hall of Fame weekend. And every year I pin down John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers. 2 years ago, he told me that Deebo Samuel was the man, and he was. However, when I talked to him this year, he said he's still the man, but he also really bragged a lot about Brandon Ayuk. I'm not going to pick Ayuk and Samuel, but I'm just going to tell you what he said. He also said that Brock Purdy is the man for them. And, of course, he said, oh, yeah, and Christian McCaffrey is really good. All right, thanks, John. So I just want to throw that there. So Samuel's going to be my guy at the end of round 2. Like somebody said, these quarterbacks, there's a drop off. And so I'm going to take Josh Allen here because I know there's no way any of these other guys are going to make it back to me at this pick. So Deebo Samuels and Josh Allen.
All right, we are in the 4th round now, and if I start three wide receivers, I'm definitely gonna think running back, but I don't like the running backs here. Maybe I can wait and go 0 RB on the way back. I have to have a top tight end. I don't want anything below the top 6. I don't want to venture into that territory. Yes, a lot of experts here have said we see a guy come and jump into the top 7, top 8 every year. I don't want to deal with that. I want to have something certain. I have TJ Hawkinson ranked as my number 2 tight end. He's going to be the number 2 pass catcher for the Vikings. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. I'll wait on a running back. I don't know. Maybe I'll get Zamir White in the 4th round or something. I don't know.
403. I'm going to take Breece Hall from the Jets. He is coming back from the ACL tear. The medical reports have been good. He is a younger player. Now, there's definitely some people will say you never draft a running back coming off an ACL tear. I do feel like if Breece Hall was healthy, no injury, he probably would be a top 3 pick this year. So you figure I'm getting a 3+ round discount on that. Jets offense going to be better with Aaron Rodgers. Even though he's healthy, there's probably a risk that they're not going to give him a full workload. But this is a guy, second half of the season, I just feel like his upside is too good to pass up.
Okay, so there's only a few guys in the league that I don't worry about their age. They need to prove to me that they can't do it anymore. One of those is Derrick Henry. One of those guys is Kelsey. And the one I'm going to take as my number 1 receiver, which I'm sure Narva's going to be a fan of, I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins here.
I'm going to take Drake London here. I know there's concerns about passing volume and like uncertainty with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, but he had a great rookie season, and we tend to see year 2 receivers take a nice leap. London showed he could earn targets at a high rate. I'm going to take a shot on him here.
I'm going to go Jerry Jeudy here. The Broncos offense as a whole is bound to bounce back. Sean Payton and that Joe Lombardi offense, having Jerry Jeudy out there, he's already looked so good. We just haven't seen a full season from him. This year, I think if he gets a full season, he's going to have a ton of upside. And, yeah, super stoked about him.
I'm going to keep drafting these wide receivers and go with Christian Watson, someone I talked about on the panel at the beginning of the day today. He's just one of those players who, obviously brings a lot of upside, some downside there too, but I strive for ceiling in fantasy. Really good yards per route run rate last year, something we only see from elite players. Someone who just, I feel like, could burn you if you pass him up. So I'm going to go Christian Watson in the 4th.
I have a serious choice right now, and I don't like where my life is at the moment, and it has everything to do with beer. I have a choice here. I would like another wide receiver in this position at the moment. I love my boy Tyler Lockett so much, but I'm going to go with what I think is going to be a little bit better upside with DJ Moore. Thank you. See, somebody here loves me, Jim.
Well, I would have taken DJ Moore right there. He has at least 1,150 yards in 3 of his last 4 seasons. They've had a train record quarterback, and Justin Fields, they're going to turn him loose. They got to know if they got a quarterback or not. So that connection is going to be huge. That leaves me with a great opportunity, though. I wanted DJ Moore, but I really needed a running back there. And, yeah, look, Aaron Jones was the unquestioned starter. Late in the season, he had an ankle injury, so A.J. Dillon cut back into his touches. Well, when you look at Aaron Jones, he's a top 12 drafted running back last year. He puts up almost 1,500 combined yards, and now he's going like as an RB2. Not buying it. Still 28, still fine.
Yeah, I like that pick right there, Aaron Jones. I was gonna grab him myself, but now I'm looking at 2 talented receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I'm gonna go Chris Godwin here. Is the more of the PPR play here. We could be concerned about the quarterbacks, but it's not like they ain't going to be catching no passes, so give me Godwin.
What quarterbacks have been drafted? Just Jalen Hurts. Top 3.
So Mahomes, Allen, and everybody else. Oh, okay. It's hard to hear when they're down there. I've got to go wide receiver. All right, so I didn't realize I was up here and everybody was going to draft a bunch of wide receivers. So now I've dug myself a hole. But I'm going to go with some high upside reach here. I can make it tore down, but there ain't much left on the receiver board. I'm going to take George Pickens right here. I like George Pickens. He's got hands. He's the guy. He can come down with the ball in coverage. I think that Pickett takes a step forward. The Steelers always seem to find a way.
I love that Pickens pick. He's like one of my favorite players to watch. Like, he's just so confident. I love it. Okay, so I'm at the turn. Has Ayuk been taken? Oh, thank God. Okay. All right, guys. Continuing with the wide receivers, I've got 2 already. I've got Jefferson and Devonta Smith, so I'm going to get my 3rd, and I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk from the Niners. Just, a guy that I just really like. I think he's going to have a great year. Just high production, and at this point in the draft, like I said, everybody's been taking receivers. You've got to kind of look at what's left and who's the best of what's left, who's got the most upside, and I think that he's got a tremendous upside. And now I'm going to swap and go to my next pick. And I think I'm going to go with my tight end here. I'm going to get that short up before I look at some other, fill out the rest of my roster here. And I think I'm going to take Darren Waller. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, guys, they have literally like 200 slot receivers on their team, right? But I'm pretty sure that Darren Waller is going to be the #1 guy in the offense, right? Of course, as long as he can stay healthy, that's always a big question. But I really like Darren Waller in that offense, and I think he's going to be my tight end.
Okay, so the next pick I'm going to take, again, early, because I know it won't make it back to me. Britt will absolutely snag him. I'm going to take Traylon Burks out of Tennessee.
Top 3 quarterbacks.
No, Traylon Burks. Sorry, No. No, Traylon Burks, not Jalen Hurts. Yeah, no. I love Traylon Burks. Now I'm a Razorbacks fan, but I know if some of you have talked to me, I've done a couple talks on it. The guy's talented. Last year he's playing there and he's the only guy. He's in double coverage as a rookie every play, and he's still catching it in double coverage, getting knocked out, and still coming down with the ball in the end zone. So you put a vet like D-Hop there to take away some of that double coverage, and you give Burks in single coverage, I'll take it every time.
We on the 5th pick now. My quarterback 1's still on the board, so I'm finna take him. Lamar Jackson, you already know. Yeah, let's go.
Lord, don't lose. Yeah. Great pick. So I am very heavily invested in Mike Williams this year. In the 5 games, he had 9 or more targets. He was 86 or more yards. He was completely dominant. When they didn't throw him the ball, obviously, he couldn't help it. But this year, I do expect the offensive philosophy to change with Kellen Moore. I expect the offense to no longer run through a slot receiver and a running back. Mike Williams will be a proper #1. He will get a very high volume of targets and miss games. People always say, well, he's always hurt. Last year, he missed time. 6 years ago, he missed time. But the 4 years in between, it's been 15 or 16 games played. Check the game logs. He rarely misses time outside of the first year and then last year.
Big Mike Williams, I love it. I really like what I've done with my squad so far. So I've got Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen, both from the Chargers. I also have my boy DJ Moore. I have a choice here. I am going to reach a little bit. I'm going to go quarterback. And I have my option between a stack of 2. But I'm going to go with the mobility. I'm going with Justin Fields and putting him in with DJ Moore. Thank you. You guys are the best. I love you. Please keep applauding.
Just follow her around the rest of the day and just applaud. Yes.
I would love that. I'm cool.
So I would often, excuse me, I would often keep building my wide receiver library up in a draft like this, and not necessarily go after a running back in this range. But there is one guy sticking out to me, a running back that hasn't been drafted, and that's Joe Mixon. Someone who, there we go. Someone who's obviously 3-down skill set. I think there might be some off the field stuff that could pop up maybe at some point this season, which is obviously a risk, but not a whole lot behind him. I don't mind Chase Brown as a player. I don't mind Chris Evans as a player, but I don't think that they're a huge threat to Mixon and his 3-down potential in one of the best offenses in the league. So I'm going to take Mixon here as my RB2.
I love it. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert now that this quarterback run is semi-started a little bit. I think he was very well set up for a great season last year, and people didn't realize that he played with hurt ribs for a majority of the season. He was not at 100%. This year, I think with the addition of Kellen Moore, he is going to throw for over 5,000 yards. They're going to have to be a very pass-heavy offense, and I'm all about those points.
All right, I'm going to take Kenneth Walker. I'm not too concerned about the injury. I think he'll be back week 1, and, it's a good offense there. I know there's Zach Charbonnet, but I think Walker will be the 1A in that backfield, and in the 5th round, I'm totally in on that.
So I'm sitting here with one wide receiver, and it's DeAndre Hopkins, and he's 48 years old. And yet I'm going to pass on going wide receiver here because I'm not loving value here. So I'm going to try to bully the draft a little bit, go with the running back. I'm going to go with Cam Akers, another one that I think is a guy that is going to get a lot of touches. So, I've got Bijan, Saquon, and Dr. Cameron Akers as my 3. And now I better get my stuff together on the wide receiver front.
Go a variety of ways here.
I'm feeling good about him this year. I know he disappointed last year, but this guy's just such a freak athlete. I'm betting that talent will win out. Mr. Kyle Pitts.
So I went 0 wide receiver, like I said, not by design, but I'm coming around the 5th round. There's still some running backs that I like. I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here. He's going to be getting a heavy portion of the workload. I know the offensive line isn't that good, but if they can throw him out of the ball out of the backfield, he doesn't have too much competition. I know they will use Chuba Hubbard some, but that'll be to keep him fresh. So to get Miles Sanders as my RB1, if I'm going to go 0 wide receiver, I am good with it.
All right, well, so I was down to Miles Sanders or Alexander Madison. Scotty made it real easy for me. When Alexander Madison has gotten over 13 or more carries in a game, he averages 16.5 fantasy points a game, and he's 80% consistent when in those games over the last 3 years when he took over for Dalvin Cook. Now he is the man. They can't throw to Justin Jefferson on every play. Madison actually is a good receiver as well, so I think he's going to have a great year. So this is kind of how I've been doing most of my drafts, going heavy receiver and then getting guys like Alexander Madison. I thought about going with another running back, but I love Dallas Goedert so much I can't pass on him in round 6. Again, last year, in those first 12 games that he played, he was 89% consistent until he got hurt. Jalen Hurts loved him, and he's going to love him again this year. So I love where I'm getting him is like usually the tight end 5 or 6, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I have him as my tight end 3.
Going into round 6 now, playing the 0 wide receiver game here, not by design again, but I still have 2 choices that I like as a running back 2 here in the 6th round, and it comes down to Dameon Pierce or Rashad White for me. I like Pierce. I like a lot what I saw of him last year, but that offense is going to have its bumps early in the season. I'm going to go with Rashad White because he's more versatile. He's going to get a heavy workload. Whenever a front office clears the way for a guy to be the feature back and doesn't give him heavy competition, I'm in on him, so I'm going to go with Rashad White as my RB2 in round 6.
Normally, you don't always want to double dip at quarterback and tight end this early if you don't feel like you're shored up at the other spots. But I feel like we're kind of at a point where the pretty big drop off in tiers. I know we're kind of a little worried about the injury, but I got to go with my guy, Joe Burrow.
Okay, like I said, I got to get in the receiver game, and so hold it closer. Yeah, so I feel like, again, I've got DeAndre. He's going to be a target hog. I don't care how old he is. I need another guy like that. I think Jahan Dodson's going to take a step forward this year, and yet it doesn't scare me away from Terry McLaurin, so that's where I'm going to go.
Nice pick. That's who I was going to take. Right now, there's no one that really sticks out to me who I really like. So even though I took a running back last round, I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins, really efficient runner. Todd Monken is going to have them playing more up-tempo, and I'm just all in on that Ravens offense. So I'll double dip on running back here and go Dobbins.
Ooh, what to do. I think that I'm looking at another wide receiver in San Francisco who is the actual man in Brandon Ayuk. We saw it in the second half of last season.
Oh, he got taken.
Oh, wait, where did he get taken?
Yeah, he got taken in the fourth.
Where? I can't read my scribbles. Okay, great. Just kidding, guys. Deontay Johnson, then. Let's pivot. That's great. Ayuk. I didn't have him scribbled down. Yeah. Look, everybody looks at his touchdown regression last year. Well, he didn't score any touchdowns. If he even bumps that up to like 4 this season, he's going to be fine, especially at this discount and ADP in the 6th round. So
I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin. I think he's still available, yeah? I'm going to go Terry McLaurin. He did get taken? Oh, we can't hear all of it over it. That's why I was confused that Dotson went, and I was like, that wouldn't make much sense. McLaurin went? Oh, I thought you took Dotson, and then that's why we were very okay. All right.
Super confused.
Okay.
So you didn't.
Okay, you took McLaurin. All right. Pivot. I'm going to then go. I don't know what you just pointed out, but I'm going to say Tyler Lockett. Was it Tyler Lockett? I'm going to go Tyler Lockett. Unreal consistency over the last 5 years. I think that this is an offense that actually support all three. I like JSN too a lot as a prospect and even his redraft value. But Tyler Lockett's is a very, very solid wide. He's my wide receiver 4 in this squad. I'll take that all day.
I don't know what's happening with my life right now because I used to have friends and now you are all. I hate you, all of you. Okay. This is gross. You're gross. You're even grosser. You're terrible. You're welcome. You're disgusting. Not even gross. You get a new one. All right. I am going to go ahead and reach for this player. I would not recommend drafting this guy where I am drafting him now, but I'm bringing up his name so that no one forgets about him. I am going to go Juwan Johnson, tight end. All right. Do not ever draft him here in a normal thing. Don't do it. Juwan Johnson is going to be my tight end. Way too early for this, but I wanted everyone to hear his beautiful name.
Man, the 3rd-year converted wide receiver last year, 500 and change and 7 touchdowns. That was in the middle of the year. Man, I love it. Those 2 tight end sets, kicking tail. Hey, take your stand. Love it. All right, I'm at that point now. The big 7 quarterbacks are gone, and I go to my philosophy of I don't go beyond 9. After that, I really feel the floor of the weekly quarterbacks is too low. So my last 2 quarterbacks in the tier are available, and there is one who the fantasy world likes better, but I am going to go with Deshaun Watson. And as I've said earlier throughout the preseason, when I watched him last year, it was very clear he was thinking when he was going to throw. The speed of the game was not back for him after 2 years away. In camp now, he is throwing without thinking. That means he's the same Watson he was. He's only 28, so his skills have not eroded, and I believe this offense is going to erupt. So Deshaun Watson.
All right, I took a little risk with my first running back going Jonathan Taylor. Getting him in the third round, I felt like that was a value. I feel like getting Dalvin Cook in the sixth round is also a value. As soon as he signs to a team, he's going up a round or two in ADP.
I know, yeah. So I'm with Jim. There's a drop off on quarterbacks. I don't have one yet. I'm hoping I can stack them maybe, but I'm gonna take the guy who is gonna get to throw 40 times a game, and I'm gonna take Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, so right here I had Trevor Lawrence on my sheet for my quarterback. So I'm going to pivot a little bit here. I need another running back. I need a flex. Some of the running backs that I like here in this round where you can get them. And I know it's not going to sound sexy. It's not exciting, but that's okay because boring players still get us points, right? James Conner. Anybody? James Conner, right? As long as he stays healthy. Look, there's nobody else out there in Arizona. I don't have a feeling that pass offense is going to be that great. So give me their running back. Give me James Conner. Give me good old reliable James Conner all day as my running back number 2.
All right, this is going to conclude the actual draft. 6 rounds. Now we're going to take questions from the audience. If anybody have a question for the drafters.
So I get some of the fading of George Kittle, but I don't know. Could like Juwan Johnson, was that kind of a throwaway pick for instead of George Kittle right there? I mean, I do like Juwan Johnson, but I don't know. That's just my only question.
No, I appreciate it. I blame this man. Can you repeat what he was just saying, Jim?
Yeah, my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, so you were curious about why I chose Juwan Johnson, why I like him. Right. So in a normal situation, absolutely you would want to take George Kittle. I brought his name up in this area here just to not forget about him. A lot of people, it's common, and it's, well, maybe not common, but it's popular to punt the tight end position. Juwan Johnson is one of those guys that you can get late in drafts. Do not forget about him. So on any normal circumstance, I'm taking Kittle all day long, but I wanted to bring up his name so we don't forget about him. He has enormous amounts of potential. He is a incredible splash player. The volume is there. I love the quarterback play that's going to be happening over in New Orleans. Don't forget his name, but yes, take George Kittle over Juwan Johnson in a normal setting. There you go.
Questions? Any more?
I was just curious as to why Joe Mixon fell as far as he did with the loss of P. Ryan. I'm just wondering if maybe people aren't as high on him this year as they were last year. I feel like his volume will be the same, though.
Yeah, I mean, I drafted him, so I agree that he fell probably further than he will. Definitely in like more of a home league environment, more than likely. There is still some of the off the field stuff that's gone on with him, and that's probably a huge reason as to why he fell. You know, I'm not a lawyer. There are people who are smarter than me in this room about this kind of thing, but anecdotally, those kinds of situations usually have like a year lag, like we saw with Alvin Kamara, right? And now we're dealing with that this year. So I can see that happening, down the line. But even if he gets suspended at some point this season, you can fill. It's not like you're taking zeros that week in your running back spot. So I do think there's 3 down potential for him.
Yeah, where JJ took him, it was perfectly great. He got the value. But the problem why Joe Mixon is falling, I think it's beyond the legal stuff, which is like JJ said, it's out there. But he took a pay cut. And look, I can't judge human beings, but he's not a high character guy in my opinion. And if he's playing for less money, I could see him not giving like full effort. My bias, I may be wrong. And also, he's a bit of a compiler. He has not taken advantage of the light boxes he's seen with Joe Burrow. And I think Chase Brown does cut into his work a little bit. But where JJ took him, that was the value. But I think he's falling for other reasons.
Yards after contact and inefficiency is one of them, too.
Question for Frank. I was just wondering, now that Tyler Lockett's off the board, does that mean that you're just going to absolutely pounce in the 7th round to JSN?
Yes.
I think if Jackson Smith and Jigba is as good of a player as people think, I think it won't matter that there's all this target competition. He'll earn it. He's a highly touted prospect. I think he's worth a gamble in the 7th round for sure.
Any more questions?
I have concerns about Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're not talent related. So Pete Carroll loves to build on defense, which he has. He added another corner in Witherspoon. He wants to run the ball. He has Walker and Charbonnet, and we know that his history. He let him throw a little bit last year, but the second year with an OC, we've seen him dial back that passing game. They were about 60%, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends last year. I believe that's their base. And they're going to keep Geno protected, and they're going to give him the lighter secondaries. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba's snaps are going to be limited because he's not getting past Lockett, and doesn't play the same position as Metcalf. So I see that as a detriment to Smith and Jigba until his second year.
Yeah, just bouncing a little bit off what you say, covering the Seahawks, they ideally, and what they did with Russell Wilson was they used the run to set up the pass, to set up play action. That said, Jackson Smith and Jigba last year the Seahawks were 20th in 3rd down conversions. That's why they drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba and Charbonnet. Daniel Jeremiah said it perfectly on the NFL Network last week. He said Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to get those dirty yards. He's going to, 3rd downs, etc. Lockett's going to run the full route tree and Metcalf over the top. Any more?
All right. We got. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Drew DeLuca. This is for any one of you. So if any of you could have any one of your picks back to redo. So look over your boards real quick. If
Lauren?
you could have any pick back, firsthand, what pick would it be and what would you have done differently?
Juwan Johnson.
How about if you're not going to take a pick back, why would you not take a pick back?
People actually wanted to hear my opinion on this. Yeah, I actually would. Like I said, in a regular league, I would definitely take Juwan Johnson back. And a Kittle is definitely there. But you know what? No, we're here now. I'm committed. He's my man. The end.
The one that I thought was, again, I haven't seen Joe Burrow fall the 6th round. I get it. He's got a bad calf. All right. Guess what? It happens to players every day out in the fields. So the fact that, hey, Scotty, no, you're in front of the mic. Yeah, there you go. The fact that if I'd have known that, I would have taken Aaron Jones and not take Josh Allen and taken Burrow in round 6. So that would have been my take back. But again, every draft is different. And I know all of us have said this a million times, but get the players you want. And if you think it's a little early, that's great. But get who you want. The idea of having fun with the fantasy football is to enjoy the team you're drafting. So if you go, well, I don't know about value, blah, blah, blah. Hey, if Joe Burrow's your favorite player, damn it, draft Joe Burrow. Because it's going to be more fun when he does well for you and for the Bengals. So definitely do that. So, Scotty, thank you for being MC. Everybody give these guys a big round of applause. What's that? Oh, yeah, we'll try to get this online. We'll get a link. I think I can get a draft board link out of it. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Save the date next year, August 9th through the 11th. We'll see you back here in Canton, Ohio. God bless. Have a safe travels back. Take care.